Hello. I was like really busy with something else and I almost forgot our time. So it is time. It is time to talk about the Restaurant Revitalization Fund, the update. It is so important. We have this update, folks, and you have to make sure that you join me and to update your knowledge all the time. Okay, so today we're going to update, and today's update is April 6th, right? And very briefly, this is who I am. My name is Ying, and I am here to provide you information, and I want you to know that I serve on the National Taxpayer Advocacy Panel and serve you as well. And I also have books published, and you go on internet, you'll find my book is called Appointment with Ying at 8 a.m. And I am pushing out the second book is 10 a.m. that talk about growing the business. The 8 a.m. is to start up a business. So of course, all of the content we're talking about here, police and no responsibility disclaimer on community CPA side. On your side, you learn and take with grain of salt, right? And really take that in and do your analysis, questions, call, ask us, and we're always here. So now let's talk about RRF. If those words are too complicated, just talk about RRF. RRF is a federal assistance to restaurant, okay? And this is part of the American Rescue Plan Act. And what it does, it is give money to the restaurant and not taxable. So what do they give? They give out 28.6 billion. That's a lot of money. I don't have a visual. I wish that I can type in 28.6 billion. Then some kind of currency pile up will show me so how much money that means. And I did try, nothing came up. So I don't think people have an understanding of the quantity of the paper when we talk about 28.6 billion. It's a lot of money. But 5 billion out of that 28.6 million is designated for small restaurants. So the small restaurant definition is 2019 gross receipt under 500,000. How do you know you're under 500,000 or not? You can look at your tax return. You can look at your POS system, right? Or you can look at your state tax submission paper. See whether 2019 you have total over 500,000 or not. If not, you qualify for small and you are getting the first dip of this money. The 5 billion is saved for you, okay? The restaurant can apply for grants based on 2020 loss revenue. So yes, you qualify yourself for 2019 number and you apply based on the loss you have in 2020. And so now, and who gets the money? Who gets the money? And restaurant, food stand, food truck, food cart, cater, salon, inn, tavern, bar, lounge, brew pub, tasting room, tap room, licensed facility, and a permit of beverage alcohol producer where the public may taste, sample, and purchase product. So this is quite big categories you can see. And no public traded company allowed and not owned by the state or federal government. State, federal government just means the city, the state, state-owned, city-owned restaurant. Not more than 20 restaurants in one group. So if you are a business owner, you own 20 other restaurants and not more than 20 in the group. So that's what they're saying. If you are those people, but you're not public owned, and then you are also not that big and you qualify. Okay, here it is first come and first serve. Very important. So here are some mind twisting rules, but I want to go through that with you so you understand. Remember the $5 billion I was talking about is qualifying for small business. That small is measured by 2019 gross sales, right? So what it says is that the 5 billion set aside for the small applicants for 60 days from the date the law was signed. So it basically says that once this thing is coming on live and they leave that $5 billion 60 for 60 days, they want you to they want to keep that there to reserve it, but at the end of the 60 days, if the 5 billion wasn't used up, it will come back to the total funds. That's what they're saying. 60 days limitation, that would give you all the way to June 14 and the 2021 if they open application on May 15. We don't know yet. I mean, April 15. We don't know yet, right? Right now is April 6th. Am I right? So we still don't have that opening yet. So if they open on April 15th, now you know that it's June 14th, it will come around. A preference period. There is a preference period for the first 21 days that they give to women-owned, veterans-owned, and disadvantaged small businesses. Basically, the disadvantaged are the one that owned by other ethnic group, and I think in the federal program, disadvantaged small businesses are the one with certain dollar amount limit and also with ethnic difference. That's you qualify for that. So generally speaking, there is the first 21 days, if you are women-owned business, even though you are a big business, you are not small, you're big, but you're women-owned, you have that advantage to go forward. If there's any money for the $5 billion I was talking about earlier left, after the due date, it will go to the main, the big bucket for available for everybody. And I just want to point this out. It is first come, first serve. And everybody knows about the PPP-1 going out of money so quickly last year in late March, beginning of April. And that was very scary. So you want to make sure that you actually understand the nature of the fund. It is free money, but it is also by first come, first serve. So let's calculate the amount. I want you to understand how to calculate that amount. To apply for this grant, you need to know what your loss is. So this is how they calculate. They want you to use 2020 gross revenue. By now, we already know 2020 gross revenue, right? So you use that number minus your 2019 gross revenue, and that is capped at 5 million for single restaurant and at 10 million for a restaurant group. So if you have 19 restaurants and you are capped at 10 million, if you just have one restaurant, you're capped at 5 million. So it doesn't matter, you maybe lose 6 million, but you can only get 5 million. So this is the amount. If the restaurant only opened partially in 2019, say you formed the restaurant in November, so you have a November month sale, you have December month sale, and how do you calculate what is your loss? Because you only had 2 months in 2019, 12 months in 2020. So the way it was written in the bill, it is use average monthly revenue in 2020. So you know the average monthly revenue minus the average monthly in 2019. Then use that times 12, then you got your loss. And so what worth to mention is this is one thing is very important. The total amount you calculated will reduce by the PPP loans that you received. So if your RRF amount is 500,000, but you received 100,000 in PPP, then you really just eligible for RRF for amount of 400,000. Make sense? So you reduce, you first calculate your real loss for 2020, and then you just reduce that by PPP amount. That makes sense, right? Easy, really easy. And eligible expenses and the covered period. The covered period is so important because it covers the loss between February the 15th, 2020 to December 31st, 2021. Okay, so this is the covered period. That means, what does that mean? That means if you're not in business during this covered period, and or if your business's loss is outside of the covered period, you don't qualify. And eligible expenses are expenses I listed right here: payroll, sick leave pay, payment of principal or interest, mortgage obligation, rent payment, utility, maintenance, supplies, all of these. And a lot of the restaurant operation is covered over here. All right, so now you are going to ask me, okay, now I know I have this opportunity, but I want you to tell me how to prepare for the application. And before March 30, and we already put out videos to talk about how you apply for government grant. Most of our restaurant businesses don't have experience in applying for government grant, for federal government grant. This is the money that managed by SBA. SBA is one of these agency that handles this pandemic money for businesses, and they are the one got the $28.6 billion allocation, and they're the one responsible to distribute the funds to the needed business. So when they do that, just like PPP, what SBA did was to go through the banks. SBA said that we want to give these PPP dollars to the business. Hey, bank, can you do that for us? We give you, percentage on commissions. So you underwrite that, we pay you, and we go through you. So this is where a lot of people, when we think of those money, and we think, oh, let's go to my banker, but this is not the same. This is not a loan, so it didn't go to the bank. SBA originally, when they issued this RRF, and most of the people are knowing, most of the people knows about government grant would go through the SAM program to get registered, so you are ready to receive government grant. We recommended our clients, whoever saw our videos earlier, go to get that done and don't wait, because this is the first come, first serve. And now SBA tweeted on March 30th, SBA tweeted, and it says that restaurant owners who seek to participate in Restaurant Revitalization Fund will not need to sign up for SAM.gov account or be required to have a DONS number. So this DONS number and the SAM.gov is part of the process, so that for you to get government fund, get the federal government grants. So they tweeted saying, oh no, don't do that, and we will figure out some other way. But they haven't really figured it out. So there is no announcement yet to tell the business owner what to prepare, what to do to apply. So we don't have an answer for how to apply, but we pretty much know the answer on how to get ready on your end. So let's look at my bullet point here. And these slides, I have been doing a lot of research. My staff members and Dr. Howe and Catherine all helped me to put this together to come up with a list for you. And I want you to get that ready, put it on your bedside, so you know that as soon as this thing is open and you are applying and you have all your ducks in a row, you're ready to go. So number one, what you need to have is the tax return for 2019 for your company, for your restaurant. Okay, and tax return for 2020, if you got that done. A lot of people did not get the tax return done yet. They filed extension, and they had a draft that they don't want to file yet. And for our clients, and our client do Datamatch, so we don't encourage clients to file unless they knew all of their paperwork is complete. If they're not sure about their paperwork quality, and they would rather wait for our Datamatch service so that their information can be in accordance to the IRS information. So you can definitely inquiry about us, about that service we have, because that service is the one helping our client stay away from audit red flags. And our clients who do Datamatch service don't even ever receive an IRS notice. So things will go very smoothly. And with that, our clients, a lot of our restaurant clients do not file 2020 before the extended due date come upon. So we say that if you don't have filed return for 2020, it's absolutely okay. And what you need to have is the financial statement for your 2020. And not only financial statement for your 2020, we also ask you to prepare your sales tax information that shows how much of a sales tax and the gross sales you have for year 2019 and also 2020. Those are good information to put it on the side because you don't have to look for it. You just get that done right now. If you haven't even done your 2020 bookkeeping yet, you don't really know what that is, you need to do it right now. And there's a lot of very smart business owner knows that in this kind of situation, financial statement become so important. You want to get your accounting done properly. And we also need to tell you that you must gather your PPP information. Remember earlier I mentioned when you calculate the losses, say you 2019, your sales is $1 million. And in 2020, your sales is only 200,000. So you lost $1 million minus 200, you lost $800,000. This is the amount you could get from RRF. But RRF do not give you that PPP money twice. So what they want you to do is to minus the PPP amount. That's why we knew that you need to get your PPP ready and the paperwork ready so they know that, okay, that's your PPP amount. So since your PPP is 200,000 and you're eligible for 800,000, so they write you a check for 600,000. Makes sense, right? And they also want to make sure that your business is actually in operation in 2019. They want to know that you have those documentation. The business is yours when you apply. So what they're asking is article of organization or incorporation paperwork. And if you have done incorporation services through our firm, and I know that the attorney had already given you all of that information, so you have that. But if you worked with our firm, you also have the operating agreement inside of that binder we gave you. So that would be the tab number 3 in our system. Okay. And then you also need the tab number 5, which is the SS4 EIN number, because that number tells the federal government, and we're dealing with the federal government. So everything about federal government, they really can see from their own system. So you want to give them your EIN number that matches to the tax return that you submitted. And you want to give them the incorporation letter, operating agreement, which has names, which have your names on there where you are applying for that fund. Then they can verify your state sales tax number and with what you have on the financial statement. So with all of that, I know for sure you will get that fund. But it is so important right now you prepare for the following things. Okay, so quickly summarize, you need to have 2019 tax return, and you need to have financial statement for 2020 if you don't have 2020 tax return copy. And you want to have a third-party sales proof, so that way and it identifies the number you reported on the tax return is correct. So we would recommend you to have the sales tax printout from the state website, right? And also you want to have your incorporation paper operating agreement and also SS4 ready. And if you don't have those things, work with the attorney you work with, get those things put together. And if you don't have attorney and you did yourself and you don't know how to do it, you can always come to Community CPA, will help you. But those are really needed. And of course, last but not the least is the PPP. Make sure you get that loan documentation out so that you can subtract that amount out of the eligible amount that you are talking about. All right. So now what I want to show you is, so I already showed you the SBA tweet. So we know that don't go to sam.gov to apply, but really wait for the procedure to come out. And to really know what procedure is, you literally just subscribe to our YouTube channel. If we hear that during the day, we post it out at night. And Catherine is the mastermind behind this whole thing. And I mean, she doesn't sleep. If it is coming up at 1 o'clock in the morning and you see it at 1:30. So that's literally how quickly we react to that, because we know time is your money and we want to make sure you're not late. And we really recommend you to tell other people about our webinar as well. And we just really, as much as we like everybody to come to Community CPA, we provide services to all of you. And the reality is that there's so many people out there we could not reach and help. And we want you to build that effort and make sure that you help us and to get the word out so every small business get what they deserve, what they should get, right? And I want to show you where to get free help in terms of this RRF application. And I will show you by going onto the website. So Catherine already helped me and looking for which nonprofit organization, which government assistance centers would be able to help us. So we identified SBDC as a resources for you to figure out a free help. So now let's go through SBDC. So I pulled out the 3 states SBDC: California, Minnesota, and Iowa. So in California, you see, I came on to California SBDC.org. This is the help center that we have called and verified, and they will be able to help you. The help is free, so you can call them to find out when the procedure will come out and how can they help you, and they would most likely give you the area number that SBDC branch is at, so you will go after your local SBDC office. Okay, so here we also have for Minnesota, and this is SBDC, Small Business Development Center overview is right here. And you can go to mnsbdc.com and you will reach them. And we're just happy that we can find out those resources for you. Same thing, and with Iowa, this is where the SBDC main office is, but there's so many other offices in different city. Just make sure that you contact them. And I want to make sure all of our people know that there are free help out there to help you to get to receive the funds that is coming out. And I'm nervous for all of you because I had the experience of knowing the fund is gone and my application never received when the PPP one was coming through. And we helped so many people getting the PPP funds, and our own firm didn't get it. And they ran out of money and our application didn't go through. So it's just a lot of anxiety in there. So that's maybe reflected on how I feel urgent all the time. And I feel that for you, okay? And I hope this short briefing about RRF is helpful. And if you have any questions, our company information is right here. And we have our website here. You can go to contact us right in here, folks. You can write to me. you can write to us. Actually, a team of us will receive the same message, so you will never fall through the cracks. We definitely help you. And these are our locations at this time, and we hope to serve you, and we hope to hear from you. And subscribe to our YouTube channel, folks, and we appreciate your support. Thank you.